Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So today, President Trump's recent nomination of Linda McMahon, a seasoned business executive with limited traditional education experience, because as the Secretary of Education has sparked discussions about the directions of the U.S. education policy, supporters argue that her outside perspective could bring much needed reform to the Department of Education, aligning with Trump's commitment to overhaul the agencies. However, critics express concerns over her qualifications and the potential implications for the public education. I think that's a misnomer because Linda McMahon is only temporary Department of Education director. President Trump signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education and leave education to the states and the governors therein. So we won't see too much of Linda McMahon because, again, he's given power back to the states and not have federal jurisdiction to control the Department of Education. A lot of people think this is absolutely bad. In some regards, I believe that this could be essentially good. We have to look at the pros and cons of them all. Now, yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order directing the closure of the Department of Education, aiming to return educational authority to the states. Proponents believe that this move could lead to more localized and tailored educational approaches, potentially fostering innovation and responsive to community needs. And opponents argue that the dismantling the department could exacerbate existing disparities, reduce accountability, and negatively impact low-income students, students with disabilities, and other vulnerable populations. I said about having a very neutral, unbiased oversight committee on the federal level, which I believe may be needed in some regards, or to a higher court, or even to the judiciary branch. Now, when it comes to these specialized components of what the states actually need, the way I look at it is like this. I had a conversation with my wife regarding this very same dismantling of the Department of Education. I don't know if you guys ever recall, not in our lifetime, essentially, people who are, I would like to believe, younger than the age of 65 to 70, but people who are probably over the age of 70. When schools had home economics, they had auto mechanics, they had carpentry, they had all of these set skills in high school where you didn't have to go to college in order to learn some of these very same things. They had trades for absolutely free for public school. This is where your tax dollars come to value your children and at the time, even yourselves in the long-term run. I want you to think about what President Trump is doing. He's trying to bring manufacturing of building the car industry of American cars back to Michigan. And think about the state of Michigan altogether, not just Detroit, but how they can really revolutionize not just electric vehicles, natural gas vehicles, fossil fuel vehicles, however you want to look at it. But those people in Michigan, that new generation of the workforce being already skilled from high school in order to do those jobs, those ASE mechanics, or those people who specialize in manufacturing or completing and putting together these parts. This is going to be very important that a lot of these governors establish or re-establish their own Department of Education and adhere to the needs of their state. That is what I believe should happen. I don't know how they would take this up and make this very profitable for their states, but these are some of the things they need to be looking at, because the leading House Democrats have called on Education Secretary Linda McMahon in the Trump administration to reverse the decision to dismantle, the Department of Education. They expressed concerns about the potential harm to students, families, and educators, emphasizing the department's role in ensuring equal access to quality education across the nation. Of course, they want to put people back in place where what seems to be fraud, waste, and abuse of people getting paid under the table. But I do believe there needs to be a federal oversight committee in some regards, so you have an extra layer, but not that the oversight committee controls, but more so audits and keep things in check, even on that state level. Now, recent reports suggest that Elon Musk was to be briefed by the Pentagon on top secret plans concerning a potential war with China. President Trump has categorized and denied these claims, stating that such reports are completely untrue and labeling them as fake news. The Pentagon has also clarified the Musk meeting was centered around innovation and inefficiency, not military strategies regarding China. Now, talks with war with China doesn't go over very easily. We do not want a war with China. I give China in the warfare space more credit than a lot of people like to put on. For every 10 American citizens, okay, excuse me, let me backtrack. For every one American citizens, there are at least 10 Chinese citizens or at least 10 Chinese soldiers, okay, within their 4 or 5 branches of their military, whether it be sailors, Marines, they have their own special forces. They mimic other elite fighting forces from around the world. We do not want a war with China. Do America wants to go back to the Stone Age? This will be a very long, lengthy, expensive, costly, chaotic, graphic war. We do not want a war with China. Who would ever sum up these scuttlebutts, these rumors, this rhetoric, this fake news? Because again, President Trump just the other day stated that he has a great relationship with the president of China, President Xi, as well with President Putin. So I wonder who is creating a lot of this fake news. A lot of people are going to automatically say it's the Democrats. Oh, it's the liberals who's coming up with this sort of information. Believe me when I tell you this, for the betterment of America and for the betterment of the world, we do not want a war with China. I'm not stating that we won't win, but it will come at a great cost to our country as well to our soldiers. This is something we definitely do not want to get in. As I look at the ongoing trade war between us and China, it has led to a significant decline in China's import of U.S. commodities. And these are some of the things that people are not really looking at when we kind of comb through these stories, because this downturn has raised concerns about the economic impact on American industries and the broader implications for global trade dynamics, because the reduction in export affects not only large corporations, but also the livelihood of workers in manufacturing and agriculture sectors across the United States of America. So hopefully everyone is, really looking at this in some regards and understanding that a trade war with China, a physical war with China, at the end of the day, is only going to hurt the two countries, which are the 1 and 2 powerhouses of the world. So could we make money together? Could we make products and services cheaper together? If China will stop spying on America and trying to infiltrate our infrastructure, okay, and had these cyber attacks against during our election season, then we can probably have a very prosperous relationship with China. And I believe, I don't know, I believe that is what Donald Trump is trying to do. Can we be at peace with this, with trade negotiations and trade contracts with China? I wonder if that's possible. I believe that it is. That may be a little far-fetched, given the ongoing take that we are in right now because of the unfair deals that we have with these, with these other countries. So again, these are some of the things that we definitely need to look at all together. Now, there's another story I want to bring to you guys' attention as I'm combing through here, because I don't know if you guys are aware that there have been increasing reports of German nationals being detained by U.S. immigration authorities upon arrival in the United States. And a lot of these incidents have sparked diplomatic discussions between Germany and the U.S., as well as concerns among travelers. The reason for these detentions remain very unclear, prompting calls for greater transparency and adherence to due process. And again, I wonder if these people are on the terrorist watch list. Are they associated probably with some white supremacy groups in Germany? Do they have foreign ties to other countries and trade deals? these are some of the things that the details and evidence need to come out before we just blast the stories across the U.S. media. And that's what happens with a lot of the liberal media organizations. As you see, they just kind of blast through the news altogether. Now, Trump shipped a lot of the gang members from Trinidad and Tobago as well as MS-13 to the Salvadorian prison, and their families are coming out and stating that the only crime that they have committed are their tattoos. I had to really think about this, because this is the same thing that the El Salvadorian president has done. If you had gang tattoos, then you were considered to be in the gang, and they locked them up and put them in this prison called CNAT. Now, more times than I can believe, more times than not, people who get tattoos are affiliated with that gang in some form or fashion, and usually is in the gang. I have a tattoo somewhere around here. And this tattoo I had right here has United States, it has USMC, meaning United States Marine Corps. At a time when I was a very young Marine, I put this tattoo on because it was a sense of togetherness, brotherhood, us being in the same situations together. It means something. Even to this day, it means something to me. So again, you're not just tattooing something that's permanent on your body for nothing. So when they stated that the only crime that these people have committed are their tattoos, I really had to beg to differ on this. I just don't believe it. So again, I want to know what you guys think.
When you look at them and you look at the crimes that they've committed, you take a look. You don't get any.
Looks like I'm having some technical difficulties. Again, I am out of the country, so everything is not working as usually, but I'll move on. But that's one of the stories that I wanted. That's one of the stories that I really wanted to cover very briefly. And as we're looking at this one right here, Trump uses emergency powers to boost mineral production. Okay. He's just using his executive order powers to get things done in a very timely and quickly manner. And I hope you guys are aware of that. Okay. So again, last but not least, I do want to cover not only illegal immigration, but people who are in this country who possibly have been in this country. They are considered, immigrants, maybe first or second generation, but they come to America or they come to the Western world and they speak ill will about our culture. And I'm not just talking about Black American culture. I am talking about American culture altogether. But again, I'm taking ownership of this, because when you speak about American culture, you're talking about white American culture, Black American culture, Asian American culture, Hispanic American culture, but they come here from these other countries. Now, unfortunately, these people that I'm about to show you are Black, but they're from another culture. Understand this. They're not Black Americans. They're from the Caribbean or they're from Africa. But I want to show you guys this clip. Please leave your comments in the video. Leave your comments in the chat or in the video once it's posted. And if you're new to Blacklogic, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you guys are aware every time I release a video. But I want you guys to take on this video clip that I'm about to show you here, and hopefully this plays in its entirety, because I believe this is important for you guys to hear.
Thing is, what culture does America have? Thing is, what culture does America have? Okay, because I believe that somebody migrated here. I believe that there. Like, let's be for real here. Everywhere else is like the UK. They big, like I said, Vibe Cartel won a whole icon award there. You go to Japan, they have a whole dance hall section. You go to Switzerland, you go to Ireland, you go to all these places. They big up the Caribbean. They respect the Caribbean. Like they give us our credit. America just has a strong hold. And I think as a Caribbean, we need to stop putting America as the front holder of everything because there's more money to be made.
When we say we're going to go back to our home, back home and do something, let's actually go back home and do something.
Yeah.
That too. Because we are neglecting our home for America when America don't give a damn about us. The thing is, what culture does America have?
Okay. All right. So let's break this down just a little bit. These two Caribbean females, they're talking about what culture does America have? And I'm gonna make this a little more personal because being Black in America, dating our history back, Black people history back 1526, even prior to that, because again, there were Black people already in the Americas prior to the slave ships arriving. But I digress. That's a story for another day. But they stated, what culture does America have? Well, America invented the first airplanes. The first airship was created by a Black man. The first airplane was created by a white man. As we comb back the history of the world itself and the innovations, okay, because what are they talking about? What culture, and again, for my Caribbean brothers and sisters, this is not aimed to denigrate, your countries, the contributions that you made to the world. But when you have people go unchecked from your culture, like these two these two Caribbean females, it has me to question, they keep speaking disrespect towards Americans altogether, and especially Black Americans. But she said, when I immigrated here, so your culture is a culture of running away from fixing your country. So what is your culture? Is it food? Okay. Caribbean food is good. Is it dance hall, twerking? What is your culture? Because here's again, when you speak so vaguely about culture and American culture, I really want you to come through. And matter of fact, let me show you guys the tweet. And I just kind of retweeted, and I want to, where are my comments? Give me 1 second here. I really want to show you guys the comments that I made, because this is very important, because people keep speaking ill will about American culture. Let me blow this up for you guys, okay? And this is what I stated to this video, because it was very, very disrespectful. It was very, very disrespectful. And I say culture is more than language, food, dance, and music. Culture is much more than that. It has to do with traditionalism, how people get married, things that we do, things that we say. And she stated that Japan reveres Caribbean culture. And I say, Japan, you say? Well, Black Americans created breakdancing, which a lot of Japanese partake in. Culture is innovation, inventions, breakthrough, and an influence from food, music, style of dress, social and technological advancements, okay? Foundational Black Americans, okay, all day. Because when we look at other cultures, right, when we look at the Caribbean culture, what are they referring to? I want you guys to really think about that. And again, I'm not trying to denigrate Caribbeans, okay, at all, but I am responding to this video, these two Caribbean females. What do they mean that Americans don't have culture? Does anyone understand what they mean? Are they understanding that Americans have raised the standard of living around the world, that people revere Americans, that we created refrigeration? That's why people around the world are enjoying either cool air in the summer or hot air in the winter. Are they understanding that? Like, again, do they just think that culture is wearing a style of garments and dress during traditional times, or a certain dance, or a certain food? Like, what are we talking about? Because again, making this more concentrated and more personal to myself, Black Americans have created almost every genre of music, not Afro beats or dance hall or calypso or reggae, nothing like that. But when you look at not just rap, not just hip hop, country, rock and roll, the blues, soul, funk, neo soul, the list goes on. And that is just music. I don't want to even comb down the many inventions, okay? The many inventions that we're talking about. As a matter of fact, let me show you another response that I had. Let me show you now. I said, this was my first response to this. And I said, you damn tethers. Black American culture is the microphone you're speaking into. Because a Black person made the microphone. The cell phone you're using, multiple Black people put together the intricate parts of the cell phone along with other people from American culture. The mannerisms and the language that they were speaking, that they're displaying, is Black American culture. Because Black American culture is bigger than peas and rice, twerking at dance hall, because our culture is very vast. You have no idea how we moved and how we're moving. That is my response. And also in my response, I wanted to play this track, and hopefully YouTube doesn't give me a copyright strike, but I want to play this track because I believe this track is very important because it speaks to the culture of other people who come to America, who migrate to America and speak bad about America. What type of country do America have when we accept all people from all countries from around the world, and they can be inside our country, and because of our Constitution, they have freedom of speech, and in that freedom of speech, they have freedom of disrespect. And these people come from all these other countries, Black countries, white countries, Asian countries, and they get on TikTok and X, American platforms, not TikTok, but X and YouTube, Snapchat. They get on all these American platforms and disrespect Americans, and we allow it. See, I would be wrong if I state that when people speak out anti-American sentiments, that Donald Trump should deport them. If their parents are first or second generation immigrants, that their parents and they should get deported. I would be wrong by saying that. But why continue to say these things like America and Black Americans don't have culture, and we have the culture that has influenced the world? I want you guys to think about the many inventions that came out of America. But anyway, without any haste, it just kind of making my brain scramble when I think about this. But I want to play you guys this track, Fair Use, Fair Use. This is for commentary and context on the video that I'm speaking. But I want to play this video for you guys, and hopefully you guys find some enjoyment out of this video like I have. I remember when Tariq Nasheed first posted this, and again, if you guys have very sensitive ears to profanity or obscene language, you can go ahead and shut the video down now. So that's my warning to you guys, okay? Because it does have some language that you may not agree with. So that's my trigger warning to you guys. But nonetheless, for you guys who want to hear this, in the response to these tethers, to these immigrants from another country, speaking disrespectful to Americans, hopefully you can enjoy this as I have.
You need us. I cry, I went, I cried till you need us. Tears fall from my eyes like a gentle touch. Why do you FBA niggas hate me so much? Why are you so divisive? I thought you were my brother, man. Why do you call me a tether? Because I fled from the motherland. I cried, I whined, I cried till you need us. I cried, I whined, I cried till you need us. I cried, I whined, I cried till you need us. I cried, I whined, I cried till you need us. Tears fall from my eyes like a gentle touch. Why do you FBA niggas hate me so much? Why do you call me a scammer? And you point out my scandals. You niggas make fun of my flip-flops, and you make fun of my sandals. I cry, I whine, I cry to you niggas. I cry, I whine, I cry to you niggas. I cry, I whine, I cry to you niggas. I cry, I whine, I cry to you niggas. You said I fled my homeland on a boat or an airline. You say that I work for Postmates, and you make fun of my hairline. I cry, I whine, I cry to you niggas. I cry to you niggas. I cry to you niggas. I cry, I whine, I cry to you niggas.
Yeah, that's a really good track that Tariq Nasheed put together, nonetheless, because it explains the culture of a lot of people. And again, this is not to denigrate any African or Caribbean countries or any Hispanic country, because he's representing a lot of people from these different cultures that come from the Hispanic countries, the Latino countries in Central America, South America, as well as the Caribbean, Africa, etc. And they come to America and they disrespect Americans, especially Black Americans, but they fled their country. They fled their country. They didn't rebuild their country. They tell us that they have built America. And we look at them as if, why didn't you build up your own country? Right? It's not like there's a shortage of bricks. There's not a shortage of cement. There's not a shortage of wood. Why didn't you build your country? Why do you state that you need to be in America, but then you talk bad about Americans? So that is essentially why I play that, because it's very disrespectful to come to another country and speak ill will and denigrate the country that you're profiting in. And then stay, oh, when we talk about, and I'm going to show the video one more time for you guys just joining me, because some of you may not understand what I'm just playing, because I think it's very, very imperative that you hear what these women said about American culture. And I'm going to show this one more time before I get out of here. And that way you can hear with your own two ears.
Thing is, what culture does America have? Thing is, what culture does America have? Thing is, what culture does America have? Okay,
because I believe that somebody migrated here.
I believe that there.
Like, let's be for real here. Everywhere else is like the UK.
Okay,
because I believe that somebody migrated here.
I believe that there.
Like, let's be for real here.
And she's stating for someone who migrated here. And here comes the disrespect. Let me just let you hear that one more time.
Okay, because I believe that somebody migrated here.
I believe that there.
Like, let's be for real here. Everywhere else is like the UK. They big, like I said, Vibe Cartel won a whole icon award there. You go to Japan, they have a whole dance hall section. You go to like Switzerland, you go to like Ireland, you go to all these places. They big up the Caribbean. They respect the Caribbean. Like, they give us our credit. America just has a strong hold. And I think as a Caribbean, we need to stop putting America as the front.
Now, she was stating how Ireland, you know, they go to these other countries and they big up Caribbeans, right? They give them credit or whatever, as if American culture has not influenced the entire world. What are they talking about? That America just have a hold on the world. Why do you think America is so large and in charge? Why do you believe that America is so powerful? It's because of our influence. It's because of our innovation. It's because of our culture. See, American culture is the exact same thing that you guys have benefit from. That is why you're in America, and that is why you're not in the Caribbean. So I just don't get it. And here's the thing. People like these two ladies here make a lot of people of the immigrant culture, whether it be Caribbean, African, Asian, you know, European Americans that come to America and speak ill will about Americans altogether, especially Black Americans. This is why we're turning our backs to you guys, literally. And it's hard for us to turn our backs to you guys because you guys' backs seem very big. Again, I'm being only disparaging to these two ladies, and not all Caribbeans, not all Africans, not all Europeans, not all Asians from, that are not Asian American. I'm only to these ladies who speak in very disrespectful, as they are in America saying these things. And I promise you, if I were to do some sort of poll after showing this video of these two ladies, should they get deported, I believe at least 85% or more people will say they should get deported. This for being disrespectful and disparaging for the country that they're benefiting from, that they're living in. Because again, I've been to Caribbean, I've been to Jamaica, very, very beautiful country, very beautiful country. But their standing of living is not like this in America. And matter of fact, I believe that Jamaica, and I'm not stating that these two ladies are Jamaican, they can be from Trinidad and Tobago, they can be from any part of the Caribbean, they can be Dominican, I don't know, right? They can be Haitian, I don't know. But when you go to a lot of these Caribbean countries, their governments are very, very corrupt. Don't get me wrong, American government is corrupt, as the Department of Doge and President Trump is revealing a lot of things, and they have corruption in their background as well. But nonetheless, their standard of living is much, much lower than America. So again, it just amazes me how people come from these other countries as if their country is better. And then they say that these other countries give them credit. America, okay, has given Caribbeans, Africans, Asians credit. You know why? I'm originally from Washington, D.C. Did you guys know that every year Caribbeans have a parade marching down the street in America, and they're waving their Caribbean flags, and they're having their Caribbean, food trucks, and they have all this, as they would say, culture, but they're playing their music, they're wearing traditional dress, they're dancing, half naked. But nonetheless, I mean, we do that sometimes too, but not on the same level. The point I'm making is, if America wasn't the land of the free and the home of the brave, you would not be able to do that. And I'll let the video finish. Just for you guys who came late, I'll let the video finish.
Places, they big up the Caribbean. They respect the Caribbean. Like, they give us our credit. America just has a strong hold. And I think as a Caribbean, we need to stop putting America as the front holder of everything, because there's more money to be made.
And also, when we say we're going to go back to our home, back home and do something, let's actually go back home and do something.
Yeah.
That too. Because we are.
See, that's the problem right there. That's one of the issues. She said, when we say we're going to go back home and do something, let's actually do it. That's a really good point, Barry, because most of the people from these other countries stating that they're coming to America to make money, and they're sending money back home, or they're building shelters back home, and I got a kingdom back home, and they're doing none of these things. Most of these people stay in America, and they go back to their home countries just to vacation in.
Do something, let's actually go back home and do something.
Yeah.
That too. Because we are neglecting our home for America when America don't give a damn about us. The thing is, what culture does.
She stated, we giving credit to America, and America doesn't give a damn about us. Why should America give a damn about people from another country who's profiting off America and sending American dollars to their countries to rebuild their countries? This is why President Trump, again, I'm no Republican, I'm no Democrat, I'm no independent, but I do understand the terminology and the ideology of America first. Because again, people come to America and send American dollars to their country to build up their countries. Now, a lot of them don't do it that much, but there are a few who do it. But again, why should we care? Why would she care about people who are coming here just to profit off America to send money back to their countries? I'm just asking the question. But she said it as if it was derogatory. Because again, if I went to the Caribbean, why would, other than tourism, okay, or I built a little small business, why would the Caribbean care about me, like more so than their citizens? You guys have a great and wonderful morning. I see you guys on the next one. This is Blacklogic.